So in the previous session we are discussing about the pavement failures, so that is the flexible pavement failures. So in the today's class, so let us move for the continuation of that is rigid pavement failures. So means what are all the types of failures you may observe in case of rigid pavement, and what is the cause of that failures, and how you are going to maintain the different types of failures in case of the rigid pavement, so that we can discuss in detail in the today's session. So let me start with what are all the main causes which may leads to the formation of the cracks or a failures in the concrete pavement. So in order to observe the failures in case of the concrete pavement or a rigid pavement, so it is caused because of the two reasons. So one is the deficiency of the materials, and another one is structural inadequacy. So try to understand here, deficiency of the pavement material means, since we are discussing about the rigid pavement, so we are using the aggregates, cement, so that is concrete we are using. So if there is any deficiency in of that concrete materials, so it is also leads to the formation of the cracks or the different types of failures. And one more is structural inadequacy. So structural inadequacy is nothing but what? So if the proper thickness of the pavement, if it is not maintained, and since we are using the concrete here, so because of the, if there is any mixed design failures, so means whatever the factors which is related to the structural details of the pavement thickness, so if the failure is caused because of the structural inadequacy, so then we are considering it as the failure because of the structural failure. So that is, the pavement is undergoes the failure, that is rigid pavement, because of the main two reasons. One is the deficiency of the pavement material, and one more, that is structural inadequacy. So deficiency of the pavement material means what? So in what way? So we can observe the deficiency of the pavement material. So sometimes if we are used the soft aggregate, so rounded aggregate, flaky aggregates, so if the aggregates are not having the structural stability to carry the loads or stresses, so that may leads to the disintegration of the cement concrete. So because whatever the main ingredient we are using in the concrete, that is aggregates only. So if it is a soft aggregates are there, so then it may leads to the disintegration. So therefore there may be a failure in the pavement surface. And one more thing, that is poor workmanship in the joint construction. So means, as I explained you, so this rigid pavement is constructed with the different panels. So means this is the cement concrete pavement, so we cannot construct the entire length of the road in a single day. So therefore it has been constructed with the different panels. So in order to maintain the continuity between the panels, we are using the dowel bars, we know that. So at the joints we have to maintain the proper structural capacity, that is dowel bars should be provided. So if there is a poor workmanship between, that is at the construction of the joint, so then also there may be a formation of the cracks. And if you are used the poor joint filler materials, that is also leads to the failure. And improper and insufficient curing. So as we know that since it is rigid pavement, the concrete is a main ingredient, so that is curing is required. So if the improper curing is done, so then also we can observe the shrinkage cracks. So whatever the defects we are observing So these defects are because of what? The deficiency of the pavement materials. And next thing is the structural inadequacy. So structural inadequacy means here we are concentrating the thickness of the pavement, and also the structural capacity is mainly depending on the strength of the materials. So because the concrete, whatever the materials you are using, so it is mainly based on the strength of the materials and the thickness of the pavement and the subgrade capacity. So because whenever the road has been constructed, so it has been constructed to the entire length, kilometers together, so it is having the different types of the subgrade we may see, so that is having the different safe bearing capacity. So if there is a inadequate pavement thickness, if you are provided based on the subgrade capacity, so then it is also developing the major cracks in case of the rigid pavement, and incorrect spacing of the joints. So means you have to provide the proper joints at the different the panels. In between the panels we have to maintain the joints. So if the incorrect spacing is provided, so that is if the span is more, so in such conditions, so we can expect the failures. So this incorrect spacing may leads to the settlement of the slab, or maybe the cracking in the slab, or widening of the joints, and also mud pumping. So mud pumping means, so what do you mean by that? So we can have the detailed discussion regarding the types of failures. So because of this structural inadequacy, so we can observe some of the failures in the pavement. So that is it. You may observe the cracks in the slab, or you may observe the settlement of the slab, or widening of the joints, and the mud pumping. So what are all the failures you are observing? So these failures because of the structural inadequacy. And because of the poor material, you may observe the formation of the cracks and poor rigid surface and spalling of the joint. So some of the failures you may observe because of the deficiency in the material. So this is how these two parameters affecting the or leads to the formation of the failures in the rigid pavement. So let us see what are all the types of failures you may observe in case of rigid pavement, and what is the cause of that. So here you can observe, I have listed the different types of failures in case of rigid pavement: scaling of the cement concrete, and shrinkage cracks, spalling of the joints, faults, transverse cracks, corner cracks, mud pumping. So these are all the common type of the failures you may observe in case of the rigid pavement. So let us see what do you mean by this type of failures, and what is the cause of this type of the failures. So first one is scaling of cement concrete. What do you mean by the scaling of the cement concrete? So you can observe in this slide. So whatever the top surface of the concrete is there, so it is peeling off, that is peeling off of the top surface of the concrete, that is flakes. So we can observe the small flakes on the surface of the concrete. So that is peeling off or a flaking of the top layer or a skin of the concrete surface. So whatever this type of failure, we are calling it as a scaling of cement concrete. So and this is mainly due to the improper mix design. So you know that, you just aware about the mix design. So whatever the type of the concrete, it may be M20 or maybe M30. So because according to the mix design, you are preparing the concrete, so that you have placed on the road surface. So if there is an improper mix design, water cement ratio if it is varies, so then we can observe this type of failure. and also the vibration during the placing of the concrete. So as we know that the concrete has been placed and it is vibrated with surface mounted vibrator and some of the vibrators, motors we are using. So if there is the excessive vibration in the during the placing of the concrete, so then also we can observe this type of failure. And whenever the surface has been finished while the water bleeding is on the surface of the pavement, it means what? On the fresh concrete. So whenever you are placing the concrete on the road surface, so you know that the initial setting time and final setting time of the concrete. So during that process, so if the water is bleeded at the surface of the pavement, so in that condition, if the surface finishing is done, so then also we can expect the scaling of the cement concrete. So this is one of the type of the failure, that means peeling off or a flaking off of the top surface of the cement concrete or a skin of the concrete surface. So that we are calling it as a scaling. It may be because of the improper mix design, or maybe the maximum vibration during the placing of the concrete, or finishing surface while the bleeding of the water on the surface of the pavement. So you can observe in the figure. So I have already explained you. So all the main reasons: deficiency in the concrete mix and presence of chemical impurities also. So as we know that in the concrete we are using some of the admixtures and the minerals we are using in order to enhance the properties. So if there is a chemical impurities are there, so then also it leads to the scaling and excessive vibration and surface roughness. And as I told you, the performing of the finishing operation while bleeding water is on the surface. So that may leads to the scaling of the cement concrete. So this is one of the type of failure you may observe in case of rigid pavement. Yes, is it clear? Am I audible? Are you following? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So another common type of the failure you can observe, since because we are using the concrete here, shrinkage cracks. So very commonly we can observe the shrinkage if you are using the concrete as a building material, or it may be we are using for the pavement here. A formation of hairline cracks. So you can observe in the figure the formation of hairline cracks on the concrete slab. So we can consider it as a shrinkage cracks. So whenever these crack we may observe, so this is we are observing during the setting time and the curing operation of the concrete. So usually this shrinkage cracks are developing at the time of setting and curing operation of the concrete. And you can observe these cracks along longitudinal as well as the transverse direction. So there is no any restriction for this shrinkage cracks. So whenever there is evaporation of the water, so because of the setting time after the curing, so you may observe the cracks on the surface of the pavement. So very basic or a common type of the cracks you may observe in case of the concrete pavement here. So you can observe in this figure also the same thing. So that is formation of hairline cracks on the road surface. We are calling it as a shrinkage cracks. So generally these cracks are not extended up to the depth of the pavement. So means these are all the surface cracks. So we are not going to consider this failure as a failure of the slab, entire slab itself. So because we are providing some thickness of the slab here, so this is only considered as a surface failure. These cracks are not extending up to the depth of the pavement. And so cement concrete pavement immediately cured after being constructed. So means you have to allow the pavement for some initial or final setting time, so then also you have to cure the surface. So if immediately the curing is done means, so then also we can expect the shrinkage cracks. So, and you may observe along both longitudinal as well as the transverse direction. So this is what the two types of the failures, that is shrinkage cracks and scaling of the cement surface. And one more type of failure you may observe, that is spalling at the joints. Try to understand by observing the figure. So in this rigid pavement, so that is, it is necessary to provide the joints at some thickness, at every panel we must provide some joints, transverse joints and longitudinal joints you are providing. So you can observe in the figure there is a cracking or breaking of the slab which is situated near the joints. So means usually from 0.6 or a 2 feet away from the joints, in this slab we are observing there is a cracking or a breaking of the cement concrete materials, chipping of the joints you can observe here. The breakdown of the entire slab near the joints you are observing. So this type of failure we are considering it as spalling at the joints. So cracking, breaking or a chipping at the joints or a crack edges because of breakdown of the slab near the edge of the joints. So, and what is the cause of this means? So if there is a excessive stress at the joints, so means before going to design with the pavement, so we have to aware about what is the warping stresses and the longitudinal stresses you are observing on the pavement. So because of the wheel load, so if there is a excessive stress at the joints, so because of wheel load, so then we can expect this type of the failure. And also if there is any impurities, so debris means what? So any unwanted materials, so if you are placed on the slab, so then also it leads to the formation of the cracks. So this is how the spalling joints you can observe in case of rigid pavement. So usually we can observe there is a deterioration of the pavement thickness near the edge of the cracks, near the edge of the joints. It may be within 2 feet of the joints. And while placing of the concrete material, so if there is any angle, so means there is no proper placing of the concrete at the junction of the joints, so then also it leads to the formation of the joint spalling. And if there is any alignment of the fault, so we are not observing at the stage of placing of the concrete, so there may be some fault in the placing of the concrete, so later it will lead to the formation of the cracks as well as this spalling of the slab. So therefore because of the fault alignment of incompressible material, so which is placed below the concrete slab, that also leads to this type of failure in case of the rigid pavement. And one more reason, because of insufficient strength of the concrete slab near the joints, so we can observe the spalling of the joints. So just try to understand, spalling is nothing but what? So at the that is near the joints, we are observing there is a breakdown of the slab thickness of the concrete, so because of the excessive stress because of the wheel load. So that is what the spalling of the joint. So this is one of the most common type of the failure you may observe in case of the rigid pavement. So another, the two types of the failures we are having, warping cracks and mud pumping. So means mainly we are having the 5 types of the failures, and some failures are because of the improper material, that is material property, and some are because of the the structural inadequacy. So this warping cracks is also comes under the structural inadequacy. So you can observe here, so as I told you, so we need to provide the some of the joints in between the panels of the concrete slab. So what happens during the hot weather condition, or if there is any variation in the climatic condition, so then there is a expanding of this panel or a slab. So we can observe the expansion of this panels or a slab of the pavement, such that we need to provide the proper gap in between the two panels in order to rectify these expansion. So means we have to provide some space for the expansion because of the change in the climatic condition. You can observe in this figure. So if the proper place has been provided for the expansion, so then there is no any the bulging of the pavement here. So if there is any, if the proper spacing is not provided, so then we can observe sagging or a hogging of the panels. So in order to avoid this sagging or a hogging of the panels, we must design the joints properly. So designing of the joint properly means what? So you have to provide the adequate space in order to occupy the expansion of the panels during the hot weather condition or because of the change in the weather condition. So warping cracks, so if we are not provided the gap, so then we can expect the warping cracks near the joints. It may be longitudinal joints or it may be transverse joint. So warping cracks are formed, so whenever the concrete slab is extended or expanded, so because of that we have to design to accommodate that expansion. So if it is not designed properly, so then there is a formation of the warping cracks. Clear? So these cracks are prevented by providing the proper longitudinal and transverse joint. So what is the remedial measure? So you have to provide this. So you may observe in case of the rigid pavements, so some space they have leave in between the two joints. So what purpose? For the expansion of the slab because of the change in the weather condition. So if that proper spacing is not provided, so then because of sagging or hogging of the panels, you may observe the some of the cracks at the joints. So that cracks we are calling it as a warping cracks. Clear? So this is caused because of the improper joint design and also due to the improper reinforcement along the longitudinal as well as the transverse direction. So in order to avoid this, we need to design properly. Joint should be designed properly. And one more failure, that is the last type of failure, that is mud pumping. Try to understand by seeing the name itself. Mud pumping is nothing but what? So generally pumping means what? Whenever the materials, which is any materials, so if it is present below the road slab, that materials is ejects out through the joints or a cracks. So that is what the pumping. So means if the proper compaction is not done, and because of the formation of the slurry, because of infiltration of the water, so whatever the material which is, by material in the sense it may be mud or it may be the soil or any material which is below the road surface, so that material comes out of the slab through the joints. So where it has to become, so it has to be emerging out through the joints. So it is expelled out or emerging out. The mud is pumping outside through the longitudinal as well as the transverse joint. So whenever the material present below the road slab ejects out through the joints or a cracks, so we are calling it as a pumping. When soil slurry, so means usually we are having the subgrade soil only, so we can expect the ejection of the soil slurry only. So whenever the soil slurry comes out of the joints, so then we are calling it as the mud pumping. Then what is the main reason for this mud pumping? So the main reason is infiltration of the water. So as we know that through the entire length of the pavement, so we need to provide the joints because it is a concrete slab, and along with the providing of the dowel bars and the transverse reinforcement, we need to maintain the joints. So because of that, we are observing the infiltration of the water through the joints and edges that may forms the slurry below the surface. So whenever there is a heavy movement of the vehicles on the road surface, so then it leads to the mud pumping. The slurry has been formed initially because of the infiltration. So whenever the heavy traffic is allowed on the road surface, so then that slurry comes out through the joints, so then we can observe the mud pumping on the road surface. And one more reason is if there is a wide spacing in between the slab and underlaying base. So we are having the thickness has been provided here. So if there is any void space in between the subgrade as well as this thickness of the slab, so in that condition also we can expect the mud pumping. So and whenever the traffic load is high, so and it fails to resist the bending, so in that condition, so we can observe the mud pumping. You can observe in the figure. So in the second figure, it is clearly visible. You can observe. So at the joint, the soil is expelled out. That is, soil slurry is expelled out through the joints because of the heavy load or because of the formation of the slurry due to the infiltration of the water. So this is what the longitudinal and the plan of the road surface, which is showing the mud pumping. So whatever the lines you are observing here, so this is what the slurry of the soil slurry. So because of the mud pumping, you can observe this type of the failure. So means if this mud pumping, if you are observed on the road surface, so then this is also considered as a failure itself. So it should not provide the smooth surface for the movement of the vehicle. Thereby it has been considered as a major failure in case of rigid pavement. And repeated wheel loading. So what is the another causes? So if the repetitively wheel load is acting, so then underlying material is emerging out. When the joints are there, repetitively load is acting, so thereby there is a emerging out of the soil on the surface. So these are all the types of the failures you may observe in case of rigid pavement. So what are all the types of pavement? Failures, scaling and mud pumping and warping cracks, shrinkage cracks and joint spelling. So these 5 types of the failures are mainly we can observe in case of the rigid pavement. Scaling is nothing but peeling of the concrete, and spalling, shrinkage cracks is nothing but because of the curing period or setting period of the concrete. A general type of the failure you can observe, and the spalling of the joint means the edge failure or the thickness of the slab is going to fail near the edges, that is what spalling. And the warping cracks are because of the improper designing of the joints, so it may leads to the formation of the warping cracks. And mud pumping is nothing but because of the formation of the slurry, the soil slurry is emerging out whenever the traffic has been allowed on the road surface. So these are all the types of failures You can observe in this figure mud pumping clearly. So these are all the some places where there is a mud pumping. So this is also one of the major failure that has been considered in case of the rigid pavement. So now you can observe the typical the cross section of the rigid pavement has been shown here. The rigid pavement means, as we know, that only there is a thickness of the concrete slab is there above the subgrade. So there is no any different layers as in the flexible pavement. So you can observe the dowel bars are there. As I told you, in order to maintain the continuity between the two panels and to transfer the load from one panel to another panel, we are providing the some bars. So here we are going to provide like this. So these bars we are calling it as a dowel bars. So dowel bars are provided, and this is what the surface which is allowed for the moving traffic, and subgrade is there, sub base if it is required, and in order to maintain the transverse joint there is a tie bars are provided. Dowel bars and tie bars are the main the types of the bars or the reinforcement used in case of rigid pavement to maintain the that is stiffness of the joints or to transfer the load from one panel to another panel. Longitudinal joints are there, transverse joints is there, and the entire concrete materials has been placed. This is what the thickness of the concrete pavement. So this is how we are going to observe the different types of failures in case of rigid pavement. Yes, is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So still now we have discussed regarding the types of failures in case of rigid as well as the flexible pavement. So let us have the continuation in the next session.